So I came across this video from a YouTuber I really like called Sunshine Shoulders. And let me check out what the title of it was. What expats in the Philippines can learn from Deion Sanders. So what Sunshine Shoulders, who is an African American from Louisville, Kentucky, living in the Philippines, is about to juxtapose is that Deion Sanders is cocky like most passport bros and overconfident. And that's the reason why a lot of foreigners don't like you when you go over there, because you act just like Deion Sanders. So let me get into this reaction. I think it's a pretty good connection he's trying to make. And let's check it out.
What every expat in the Philippines can learn from the Deion Sanders loss today. You know, unless you've been hiding up under a rock somewhere, there's been a lot of hype surrounding Deion Sanders and the Colorado football team.
Now, this was taken like 2 weeks ago when they had just had their first loss against Oregon. Okay, so we're now in week 6. They're 4-2, just beating Arizona State. So let's check it out.
They were 3-0. They had exceeded every expectation. They were winning. But today, they were blown out by Oregon 42-6. And gone was the arrogance of primetime Deion Sanders, which, in my humble opinion, should have never been there to begin with. That was the problem. That's why a lot of people were looking forward to this day. Deion Sanders had nothing to prove. He's not the first black coach to win at a Power 5 school. He's not the first black coach to win at the highest level. Remember, Tony Dungy won a Super Bowl in Indianapolis, of all places, in 2006. But from the very moment he won, he was pointing fingers. I told you. Do you believe now? He was talking down to people, looking down to people. I mean, he was really belligerent, in my opinion. And I'm a big football fan. I was like, dude, you can't do that, because eventually you're going to lose.
I disagree with this. Everybody knows you're going to lose, whether you're humble or not. Muhammad Ali was the biggest arrogant person in the history of boxing. And what did he tell Howard Cosell? It ain't bragging if it's true. Now, it'd be different if Deion Sanders wasn't like this. He's been like this his whole career as a player. He was like this at the high school level coaching. He was like this at Jackson State, and he was winning. The guy is 4-2. So, I mean, a lot of these guys with these arguments about, you need to be more humble. I think that's bullshit, because it's who he is. He's winning. He's always been him. Okay. And I think that, guys like this, and I like Sunshine Shoulders too, to be honest. I don't think this is a good argument, because you don't like the fact that he's the way he is, but that's the way he is. He's being himself. And either we can say that we like you to be yourself or not. He is being himself, which is why he is who he is, which is what's got him to become Deion Sanders, because he is himself authentically, which I think in the African-American community, we can accept people like that for having big personalities. And that Roy Jones was very similar to that. Ali is very similar to that. Everybody ain't just got the, shut up and do your job, humble mentality like we like to see folks do. That's not the case in Deion Sanders.
The greatest teams lose. How are you going to handle it then? So the press conference comes today, and he handles it the way he should have handled his victories, with humility. Okay? Say, well, what's that got to do with expats in the Philippines? Has a whole lot to do with it, guys, because we come over here the same way. We're arrogant. We've got our pensions. We have our education. We have our high standard of living. And we come to a place where millions and millions of people are struggling. And we look down on people. We think we're better than people. We bring our culture over here and try to just impose our will on folks over here. And eventually, you're going to get your head handed to you on a silver platter, just like Deion Sanders did today. But what we can learn is to be humble, guys, from the beginning when you get over here. People are going to like you a whole lot better. They're going to respect you a whole lot better. your time in the Philippines is going to be a whole lot better, because guess what? At the end of the day, you know better than anybody else.
So I hear what he's saying. And again, he's living in the Philippines and I'm living in Uganda. Can I tell you this? A lot of people live overseas, and guys, if you live overseas, comment in the comment section if I'm telling the truth. A lot of people who are residents of this place we're moving to are fake humble. All right? So you're coming over, you're being fake humble, they're fake humble. All right? Like, now I get it if you're out there showing off and stuff like that, but these guys are fake humble. You know what I mean? It happens in foreign countries. People want you to be humble. They pretend to be fake humble. That's how sometimes you get scammed. You get overcharged because people look at it as if you're weak. You could be fake humble and humble, whatever. And you, I guess that's correct, right? You don't want to come to some place and imposing on their culture and stuff like that. But at the same time, and I'm not trying to say he's making this argument, but what I've noticed is when you come into the country and you're trying to be just like, oh, so humble, I'm just like you, yeah, camaraderie. Those people don't look at you as the same. They don't. And that could lead to people trying to use you, and they will. All right? So, you know, people can act like they're gonna like you. You can do all kind of nice, humble things. Hey man, you're not their people. So we need to understand that, right? You got to understand that. People can like you to a certain degree, but what does that like actually do for you? Most people in foreign countries ain't opening up doors for you or helping you. You're a leg. You have to get out there and kind of put your foot down, let them know that you're not playing and you're not actually scared. You know what I mean? Some of that American mentality has helped me get to where I'm at. I'm going to be real. And I do got a little bit of Deion in me. But it can be different every place. But, you know, like I said, that's different, you know, looking down on folks. I think he's right with that because that definitely happens as Americans. But let's continue.
At the end of the day, you're just a human being, and you're going to take a loss like everybody else. That's what we should learn today. I see it all the time. I see it in the restaurants. I see it in relationships. We're just not humble. We're finally in a place where, hey, we're the big man now. We can call the shots. We're Nino Brown for a few weeks or whatever it is over here. And we act a damn fool.
That's a bad example. Let me tell you why he's saying, you know, he kind of just lost me here. We get over here, we finally can call the shots. You're talking about a guy who can finally call the shots. Deion Sanders has been calling the shots for over 30 years. In college, All-American. NFL, 2-time Super Bowl winner. He's winning in college. He won at Jackson State. So how can you talk about be humble when that attitude helped the guy become arguably the greatest football player in the top 5 ever with that mentality? I mean, this is where he's losing me because it's not like Deion started this today. Now, if you're a guy, you were nobody in the States, and then you come over there acting like you're the shit. Okay, that's a better argument. But if you're Deion Sanders, who your whole mentality has helped you get to where you're at, just like Kanye West, and you know, he's crazy, or Jordan or Kobe Bryant, well, we can't really argue at who made them what. They're geniuses, right? The same thing that Deion Sanders is. He's athletically gifted, he's super talented, he's super motivated, and his way works. It's different if you're some bum in the States that come to the Philippines and now you think you're better than everybody else when you were always a loser. But Deion Sanders is a perennial winner. He's a millionaire. He's super successful. So this guy, he's trying to compare apples to apples, and it's really apple to oranges. So it doesn't make much sense. But let me kind of get back to...
You know, my mother said something a long time ago when I was little. She said, if something good is going to be said about you, let it come from other people. It sounds a lot better than coming from yourself.
Okay. Here's another argument trying to take it Deion Sanders. I don't know if he knows this. Colorado is the most watched, I think, football team in America. It's even eclipsing some NFL teams. So they're already doing it. as it is. So, I mean, I don't know why he even said that, but people are already talking about him, period. And he's living up to the hype.
Because then you're bragging. Then you're boasting, and then you're being arrogant. And I think...
Is it true? It's true. He's 4-2. So he said he's going to do it. He's doing it. It's true. What is arrogant about the truth? Okay? If Bill Gates comes and says, I'm a billionaire. I'm really good at business. I'm the best. One of the best in the world. Is that arrogant? Or is it the truth?
We need to tone it down a little bit over here as foreigners. Remember, we're in a foreign land. The Filipinos, they roll out the brightest red carpet for us. We're in a no-lose situation, guys. The same as Deion Sanders. He can't lose. They only won one game last year. All he has to do is come in and say, you know what? All I'm trying to do is improve this team. I've got a plan over X amount of years, and that's what we're going to do. But no, what he comes in and does, I told you, pointing fingers, look at me, look at my family, putting a bullseye on the backs of those young people where they can't have fun, the pressure is on them, and you're going to...
I don't think this guy has any... I like this guy too. I don't think the guy knows what he's talking about. They're 4-2. They're living up to the hype. They're living up to the pressure. He's not a football coach. He doesn't know what they're going through. He's assuming something he doesn't know about. Last I checked, he's not an NCAA football coach. This is his personal opinion, which again, I mean, the guy's name is Primetime, right? So if anybody who calls themselves Primetime, it's look at me. He's always been like that. Again, this is a bad example. And I don't know, again, I like this guy a whole lot. I don't think this is very well thought out. And he's trying to conflate these two ideas that's not making a whole lot of sense, but.
And you're going to do the same thing when you come over here. Leading with your wallet. Oh, I'm better than you. I've got this education over here. Oh, I was the police chief back in my hometown. Mm-hmm. Or whatever you was. Nobody really cares when you get over here.
True.
Because the one time that you lose, because you're going to lose, they're going to pile on your back. I've been a fan of Deion Sanders my whole life. But I'm not a fan of his attitude and his arrogance and the way he handled himself with those 3 victories. Man, it's only 3 victories.
You've been a fan of Deion Sanders his whole life, but you're not a fan of his attitude? He's had the attitude for a long time. Again, you're talking about these guys who were police chiefs and these other guys who had nothing, and they're coming amongst people who have nothing. Yeah, that's different. But you need to make another argument for a person who has nothing and then in the States and then does the same thing, in the Philippines. You cannot compare some guy who was a police chief coming to the Philippines to Deion Sanders, who came, think about that. Deion Sanders coming to Colorado is not the same thing as somebody coming to the Philippines from America. Why? Because when Deion Sanders comes to Colorado, everybody cares. You just said it yourself. When somebody from America comes to the Philippines, nobody gives a shit. So how are these two examples the same? Again, this is not very well thought out. Again, maybe he puts the play button that damn, but this is not a very well thought out thing at all. It's not. Because Deion coming to Colorado, everybody cares. He's influencing, he's recruiting. There's no, okay, if we're talking about somebody like, let's say, for example, give you an example, Blueface. If Blueface comes to the Philippines and moves there, he's known. He would have some reach getting to the Philippines. Kanye West would have some reach coming to the Philippines. Then that's a better argument talking to Blueface, or even, that's even not even a good argument, right? But let's say somebody like P. Diddy coming to the Philippines, because they would already have some impact. The average guy has no impact coming to the Philippines, but Deion had immediate impact coming to Colorado because his superstardom carried over into Colorado, and that being prime time helped him recruit coming into Colorado.
I just hope that people show the same energy now that reality is set in, which it was going to set in, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the schedule that he's got ahead of him. Okay? And this is what I say to the expat. Look at your schedule. You got a tough schedule over here in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. The weather, the food, the language. You have no friends and family over here. It's not going to be an easy walk to the championship over here.
But he does have his say. The more this gentleman talks, the more it's not making sense. You don't have your friends and family in the Philippines, but Deion Sanders has his friends, families, even his friends coming to the game. Shannon Sharp's coming to the game. LeBron's coming to the game. His ex-wife is coming to the game. The guy's not making sense. I'm sorry. He's trying to make a point. He needs to rethink the point in the position. He's a very great YouTuber, by the way. This probably was a bad day. Not sure.
You may never win a championship over here.
Mm-hmm.
But the longer you're humble.
Can't win a championship as an expat anywhere.
The sooner you get humble and practice some humility, the better. I don't wish bad luck on anybody, and I told them that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want everybody to win.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I believe there's a way to win. And in sports, because it's so fickle, the fans are so fickle, the media is so fickle, you set yourself up for failure when you come out arrogant like that. And it's going to happen to you over here in the Philippines.
Okay. So, you feel like there's a way to win, which is being humble. But do you understand there are more ways to do things than not? I mean, you're saying like, hey, listen, the media is fickle, fans are fickle. Whether you're humble or not, if you're losing, people don't care, bro. Like, at the end of the day, if you're winning or you're losing, if you're losing and you're humble, you get fired. If you're losing and you are trash talker, you get fired. What matters is wins and losses. And just say that I don't like the fact that he's winning with that attitude. He should be winning with a different attitude than trying to make all of these, you're trying to juxtapose things that don't really go together. And then you're trying to conflate things that don't really go together. And it just seems like you kind of just threw all of this. A lot of Deion Sanders, who are people who are disgruntled with him, they do stuff like this. They just try to find an argument that if you listen to it long enough, it just doesn't make any sense. Again, I love this guy. I've reviewed him a few times on my channel. Great YouTuber, go subscribe to him. Doesn't make sense today. Doesn't mean that I got any beef. I love the guy. He's a great YouTuber. But in his defense, yes, you do get guys from America that come down to these foreign countries, the Philippines being one of them. A lot of these brothers are out here doing too much. They're being disrespectful to the community. They're being disrespectful to the culture. They're trying to talk down to people because they feel like they're better. That happens, right? And if you keep doing that, they will you up. You can get, dealt with. He's absolutely right with that. But him trying to compare that to Deion Sanders, he could have just left that away from the argument in a position and just dealt with that. But again, I like the attempt. It shows that there's some level of creativity in his content and trying to, make it there and prove a point. But the point's not there, it doesn't exist. There's a myriad of bad examples, a myriad of, conflations that failed, in my honest opinion. But again, check him out. He's a great YouTuber, Sunshine Soldiers. Check him out. Subscribe at the bell. Let him know O'Shea sent you. We're out.